Hey bees, I'm Marie from Humblebee and Me, and today we are looking at some of my favorites from the last couple months, so kind of like winter favorites, late 2017, early 2018. This first one is something that I really fell in love with on my trip to New Zealand. It's something that I've used before, but proved super amazing for this trip, and it's an app, a free app called UV Lens. And you go in and you enter sort of how pale you are and what kind of sunscreen you are using, and then it uses your phone to look at where you are, what time it is, and what your UV exposure is going to be like, and it tells you sort of how quickly you'll burn without any kind of sun protection. And then you can be like, bloop, I put on sunscreen, and then it'll tell you how long that sunscreen will protect you, and then remind you to reapply when the time comes. And this was so helpful in New Zealand because I am extraordinarily fair-skinned. I'm not the fairest skin of persons, but I definitely am very pale and I burn very quickly. And coming out of a Canadian winter and going straight into a New Zealand summer where the sun is very strong, I was definitely worried about absolutely torching myself. But with the help of this awesome app and some really great New Zealand sunscreen, because their sunscreen is way better than Canadian sunscreen, it's got a lot more active sun blocking ingredients, I didn't get a tan. And not only did I didn't just not burn, I didn't even get a tan when I was down there. So I was very proud of myself. So if you are concerned about sun exposure, which you should be, I would highly recommend checking out this app. I use it here in Calgary, and at this time of year it goes from no UV, and then low for just 3 hours at this time of year, and then back to no UV. And then when I got to Auckland and I took it out, and I'd never seen purple on the app before, which was so much UV. So very useful. In the world of food, I have fallen in love with pressure cookers. And so I don't have an Instant Pot or anything. This is an old school pressure cooker that I inherited from a friend's mom who had upgraded to a Instant Pot. And so this is a pretty old school pressure cooker, but it's amazing. It feels like cooking on fast forward. So for things like chickpeas, 22 minutes, you have perfect chickpeas that are tender all the way through. Or when my parents were here for Christmas, my mom really likes beets, but sort of laments how long they take to cook. So I showed her how to use a pressure cooker, and she's like, this is incredible. You could actually cook beets and eat beets in the same day. It's like sweet potatoes. You cook up sweet potatoes in 15 minutes. It's amazing. So I am completely smitten with my pressure cooker for root vegetables and for lentils and beans and things. It's amazing, and it is completely worth the space that it takes up in my kitchen. In the realm of things I'm kind of wasting time watching on Netflix, I've been absolutely in love with The Crown and with Call the Midwife. And so The Crown is, the costumes are beautiful, the makeup's beautiful. It's such a opulent show to watch. It's just gorgeous. So that is wonderful. And if you like sort of period dramas, highly recommended. And then in another realm of period dramas is the BBC's Call the Midwife, which somewhat delightfully / dangerously has 5 full seasons you can watch. And it's also, I've been enjoying it so much. So these are 2 shows that both have, strong female leads. Call the Midwife has a strong female sort of ensemble cast, which is just very wonderful. And it's so eye-opening. Oh my goodness. It really makes me realize how grateful I am to live in a time when women have at least more control over their bodies and when they want to have children than they did, even when my grandmother was young, which really doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but that's, this television show is set in the late 1950s, and wow, it's wonderfully made and really highlights a lot of issues of the time and just does a wonderful job of it. So highly recommended, but warning, it's kind of addictive and there is a lot of it. So in the realm of photography, I got some new toys. I haven't used these a ton, but what I have done with them so far, I've really enjoyed. So this is from a brand called Go Bee. And so my brother got me a polarizing filter from this brand for Christmas. And so I took a look at them, and they're really affordable. And so I've been sort of salivating over some ND filters for my camera for quite a while, but when you enter into the world of full frame cameras and larger lenses, everything gets so much more expensive. And so some of the filters I was looking at, a single one was $350 or more. And then you still needed sort of the apparatus, and you didn't usually just need one. And so, that really scared me off. But these two together, this here was less than 80 Canadian dollars. And so I've got two ND filters here. This one is a variable density one, and then this one is really dark. I'll show you the variable density one. So these are ones that just sort of screw onto the end of one lens. So these fit my 35 millimeter Sigma Art f1.4, 35 millimeter, yeah. And so they make stuff, as you can see, darker. It reduces the amount of light that goes into your camera, so that if you want to shoot a long exposure in the middle of the day, you can without completely blowing out the photo. So you can get like beautiful, dreamy, sort of smeared out waterfalls and things without completely blowing out the photo. And so that's really quite exciting. And I don't do all that much landscape photography, so it was really nice to be able to get, like, this one's so dark, to be able to get some of these filters for a price that was reasonable for me just wanting to play with it. So yeah, I don't know, I've been happy with these so far. I have not, as I said, done a ton of shooting with them. I'm really excited to play with them when I go to Australia next month. But they've been really fun so far. And yeah, it's pretty hard to argue with the price when they're like 10% of the price that you would sort of usually pay for this sort of thing. So if you have had any interest in playing with these things, I like these guys. Another app I've been loving is Snups, and so a huge thank you to Rachel for telling me about this. Snups is like Pinterest, but for stuff you already have. So I have gone in and I have created shelves for all of the different categories of DIY ingredients I have. So like yellow pigments and green pigments and surfactants and emulsifiers and vitamins and antioxidants and carrier oils and butters and essential oils, and you get the idea. I have a lot of shelves. And then you take pictures of stuff and put in the name, and then you put them on all your shelves so that you can actually go through and see things. And you can double categorize things. So if you have like vitamin E, it's both a vitamin and an antioxidant. So I have that, sort of on both shelves. And it really gives you a chance to, well, it's forced me to go through everything I have, to take pictures of it, to know what I have. But it also means it's much easier for me to go and see what I have when I'm thinking, do I have that? If I don't have to sort of go downstairs and check. So that's been awesome. And so if you want to like dig through my collection and see everything I have, you can 100% do that. I'll throw the link to my profile in the description box below. You don't have to sign up, but if you do, you can follow me if you want to watch my collection as I continue to document things or buy something new. You can do that. Yeah, it's been really useful, and it works for my sort of visual sense, and it's so easy to use that I actually do it, which I'm sure there are better systems of inventorying things out there, but I actually use this, and that's pretty important, so I like it. In the world of DIY ingredients, I am so smitten with hyaluronic acid. So this is a 1% solution of hyaluronic acid that I made. Like, look at it. It's so, like, 1%, and it's so, like, beautifully viscous. It's gorgeous. I can't wait to put this in some stuff and on my face. I've loved hyaluronic acid in a lot of sort of store-bought things that I've been using lately, serums and whatnot. I've been keeping my skin really happy. And so when I visited Pure Nature in Auckland when I was in New Zealand last month, they gifted me some, and so now I've been able to play with it, and I'm super stoked. Windy Point in Calgary now has it as well, the low molecular weight hyaluronic acid, which is what I got from Pure Nature as well. So now we have a Canadian source for hyaluronic acid, which is amazing. But yeah, watch for some formulas using this in the future. I thought I'd quickly wrap up with a couple food things I've been in love with lately. So just generally speaking, like Indian food, I've been making a lot of it. The recipe blog, Veg Recipes of India, is an amazing resource. So if you want to learn to make really delicious, authentic Indian food, can't recommend that one enough. Halloumi, oh my goodness, halloumi is this wonderful squeaky cheese that you can sort of pan fry and use sort of as a vegetarian replacement for meat in like sandwiches and things, and it's wonderful. And I have loved halloumi for years, but I finally found a good source for it in Calgary, called Freestone Market over by Marlborough Mall. So you can finally get like, so I'm very excited. I have a giant block of halloumi in my fridge now and it's calling to me. Wheat Bix or Weetabix. They're Wheat Bix down under and they're Weetabix up here, and down under they are rectangular and up here they round the corners. But other than that, they seem to be very similar. So I ate a ton of Wheat Bix when I was in New Zealand and came back and was like, ooh, that was yummy. So I have started eating a lot of Wheat Bix here. And then Whistler Brew Co.'s Chestnut Winter Ale is amazing. So if you happen to see a 6-pack of that somewhere, I can't recommend picking it up enough because it's delicious. Oh yeah. All right. Those are some things I have been loving this winter. I'd love to hear about some of the things that you're excited about as well. Don't forget to check the description box for links to things so you can look into them more. And yeah, I will see you next time.